Tonight is December the 19th, 2024. We're going to do some sine wave and square wave testing on the little Joule amplifier. I'll show it to you in just a minute and show you what I had to do with it. Had to change the power transformer, but I'll explain that in just a minute. But first of all, I got to show you this setup. This is very interesting to me. I hope it is to you too. This is a square wave generator. It has a rise time of just over a nanosecond. It's very, very fast. But I want to show you something that you may not be aware of. I hope you find this interesting. Okay. Well, first of all, we're going to take the output of the generator. We're going to put it straight into the spectrum analyzer. And I think you can. We gotta zoom in. I mean, this is the only thing we want to look at in the whole world right now. This is the only thing we're interested in. Okay, I'm going to turn out the lights, and you can see how that is. Well, a square wave is the fundamental and all of the odd harmonics. There are no even harmonics in a perfect square wave. Now, there's a symmetry adjustment on this square wave generator, and I'll show you what happens if I throw the symmetry off just a little bit. I mean, it doesn't have to be much. When I throw the symmetry off, you see those pulses coming in the middle right here, right there. Those are the even harmonics. You don't want those. If it's not perfectly square, those are in there. Now, if you look at it just as a square wave on an oscilloscope, it'll look square. You can't tell that it isn't square. But I'm going to adjust the symmetry and get rid of them. There we go. See how I can tune that out? I hope my arm's not in the way. If I go too far the other way, well, see, they come back. So I got to get this thing right in the middle. Now, I want to get it as square as possible. Okay, I think that's as square as possible. So we have, this is a 2 kilohertz. This is 2 kilohertz. No, this is 1 kilohertz. I'm sorry. This is 13579. Just kind of keep that in mind for a second. Only the fundamental and the odd harmonics. Okay. Now, let's take it up here and look at it on an oscilloscope, so you'll see just how beautiful it really is. If we put it up here, there it is. Turn off the lights again, so it's really important to really zoom in on it. And you can see how that is. Let me turn down the brightness, intensity a little bit, because it always tends to want to overwhelm the camera. That is a square wave. Oh my goodness, now it's going out of focus. Come on, don't do that. Okay, maybe it needs to be just a little bit brighter to keep the camera in focus. Just don't want it to overwhelm the camera. That's a very square wave. From here to there is around a nanosecond in time. We can stretch this thing out and you'll see that. I gotta turn the intensity back up. There it is, right there. See, we can get it up to 5 nanoseconds per division, and then we can magnify it times 10. But you can see how square that thing is, how fast it rises. Okay, so we don't have any problems with and how square it is on the corner too. I mean, it's a little rounded, but that's out at 5 nanoseconds per division. Okay, so we got a very, very, very fast rise time. But this will blind the camera, won't it? Okay. Yep, sure it does. It blows the camera away, doesn't it? Okay, so now, here's what I have found out that just makes me go, wow. Turn the lights back on. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to look at the oscilloscope. No. We're going to, yeah. Into the amplifier. First of all, we're going to put a sine wave. Have I backed way off? No, I haven't. Let's back way off so you kind of see what I'm doing here. We're going to take a virtually perfect sine wave out of the amplifier. I mean, out of the SG505 oscillator. I'm doing this. I don't want to be moving the camera around too much. And I've put it into the amplifier. And now we want to hook the oscilloscope back up. And what do we have there? Nothing. Power out. Well, we should have something. Why do we have nothing? This goes down here. Maybe I don't have the intensity up high enough. There it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. Okay, we're overdriving it because we're running it at almost 7 watts. You can't do 7 watts. We're going to turn it back down. I think you can actually see it up there. We're going to turn it back down to like 3 watts. Okay? You can see the 3 watts right here. 3 watts. So just a tiny bit of clipping. I don't want to move the camera around so much just to drive you crazy. 1.67% THD up here. Doing really well. 2 kilohertz. Now here is the interesting thing. Look at this. I always have heard that we like even harmonics and not odd harmonics. Now, we're putting in a virtually 8 parts per million of error, supposedly, from that little Tektronix SG505. So we've got as perfect a sine wave, I think, as money can buy. And look at what we've got coming out. We've got 2 kilohertz. This thing is scanning at 1 kilohertz per division. We got 2 kilohertz, 4, 6, 8, 10. We have on this amplifier, the artifacts that this amplifier is creating is only even harmonics. This is indisputable. It's only creating even harmonics. It's not creating any odd harmonics. I mean, unless I turn it up and, you know, blast it to Kingdom Come here. Let me see what happens when I run it up to something really high. Well, no, those are still just even harmonics. I've got it up to 5 watts. It's only producing even harmonics. Can you believe that? See, there's our 2 kilohertz. That's what we're putting into it. Right there. 1.9992. Yeah, see? Okay. And this is what's coming out of it. That first pulse is 2 kilohertz. The scan rate right here is 1 kilohertz per division. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But the linearity of this thing needs to be a little bit tweaked. But anyway, that's at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. If we slow it down right here, let's see, we need to go the other way maybe. And retrace. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. It doesn't produce any odd harmonics. I'm running at 5 watts. Let's turn it back down to 3. It does 4 watts really nice, but we'll keep it really clean at 3 watts. I think you can see the 3.0 right there. See 2.99? Sometimes it pops up to 3. But look at that harmonic profile. I mean, had I not been paying really close attention, it could have slipped past me. This little single-ended amplifier only makes even harmonics. Well, like I say, I think I'm repeating myself, but I've heard that we like even and we don't like odd, and I've always kind of poo-pooed that. I don't believe it. Well, maybe I do now, since I like this thing so much. Here, watch it draw. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So it's good out to 20 kilohertz. And not only that, let's go back to this. Let's go back to here. And okay, and let's put that perfect square wave into it. Okay, so we need to take this off of here. We need to put this over to here and not overdrive it monstrously. Okay, there we go. Okay, there's our square wave. Now here's what's interesting about it too. Okay, let's go back to the harmonic profile. Look at this. Okay, now this is a completely different harmonic profile. This is at 1 kilohertz. That's what we're putting into it. But remember what we just looked at? A square wave is the fundamental and only the odd harmonics. So now we're only putting in odd harmonics. Now the amplifier itself was creating. The artifacts of the amplifier were the second were all of these even harmonics. But now we're putting in 1, and what's coming out, as it should, is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, and 19 kilohertz pulses. So it's reproducing that square wave accurately. I don't know why I've got this noise out here. That's actually not in the amplifier. It's somewhere in my test equipment. I got something out here that's got that glitch. I discovered that a while ago. I don't know where it's coming from. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. When I take this off, see how it all goes away? And if I take the amplifier completely off, let me see this. There's the amplifier completely off. See, it's still there. So that glitch is something, I don't know, there's something buzzing in here or whatever. There's absolutely nothing driving it. So we can ignore that. That's not an anomaly. So our amplifier creates artifacts that are second harmonics, but it reproduces the odd harmonics perfectly. Isn't that interesting? Okay. Let's look at, again, let's go back up here, and let's look at this. We got to look at it really close. You know, we got to really get down there and get our nose to it and examine it. And I hope the camera will stay in focus. And let's press auto so the thing will. Okay, you see that? Isn't that cool? Yeah, it's a little bright. Let me turn down the brightness. Let's hope the camera will stay focused, because it's a really nice display. But you can see these little wiggles right here. You can see that there's a tiny bit of overshoot. Well, I'm going to turn back on the light. I know this is a lot of moving around, a lot of camera motion here, but I got to show you this. Here's what I'm doing. I have put a little capacitor box across the feedback resistor, the negative feedback resistor. It's 10K. It's all in the schematic. I'm glad. Thank you, Marco, for making that nice schematic. So I've got a capacitor box across it, but I've got it all set to 0, so there is no capacitor across it now. And here, let me show you what this thing does. This capacitor box, see, I can put in 0001, that's 100 picofarads, 100, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 900, and a 001. Then we go back to another 001, which is 1,000 picofarads, 2,000, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way up to a 0.01. Okay. So we've got no capacitor across it now. Now we got to go back over here. This is what we have to do to really examine what's going on. And I'm going to show you here. Let's turn out the light again, so we can really get in there, and yeah, you can see that really good. Okay, now okay, I'm going to put in 100 picofarad. 100, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, or 1,000, 0.001. See, that's 1,000. See, you can see it smoothed it down right there on that leading edge, right at the very tip. The left hand side, the leading edge. I'm going to put it back to 0. See how it came back up a little bit? Okay, now I'm going to go to the other range. There's a 0.001. See how it smoothed it out a little bit? There's a 2, 0.002. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. See, we're attenuating the high frequencies now pretty severely, which is not good. Okay, there we go. Okay, now this square wave, oh my goodness, I gotta, let's see, what, this square wave, yeah, this is 1 kilohertz. Okay. To produce a square wave, to have the leading edge nice and square, the amplifier's got to be able to reproduce at least up to the 10th harmonic. At least to the 10th harmonic, so that's saying 10 kilohertz right there, but we can see that it's actually going out much further than that. Now I got to turn this up a little bit. Things may get a little out of whack because I've got to I got to be able to run the square wave. I know it's completely off the chart, but what I'm going to do is run the square wave up to 2 kilohertz. I have to raise it like that. I'll show you what I'm actually doing here in a second. But I got to do this. Okay. See, what I just did is I ran it up to where, whoops. See, now we're at 2 kilohertz, almost 2.1. Okay, but I'm overdriving it grossly. Oh my God, where am I? I think I'm right there. Yeah, I got to turn it way back down now. I'm going to turn it all the way down. Okay, now I'm going to turn it back up, and I'll get the lights here in just a second. 0.3. We don't need the power very high because that's not an issue. Okay, now we're putting 2 kilohertz into it. Okay, let's turn this back off. Hope I can keep this up without doing something stupid here. Okay, there's our 2 kilohertz. Okay, now I've taken out all of the shunt capacitance across it. I'm going to put that 001 back in. See how maybe that one should be there. Technically, it should be there. And there, see, it's rounding it again. But the point is, I'm going to leave it out, and it's reproducing a 2 kilohertz square wave very nicely. So that's speaking pretty well of it. Meaning, again, if we say the response of the amplifier has to be at least 10 times the fundamental, 10 times 2 is 20 kilohertz. So that's saying it'll go up to 20 kilohertz quite well. And I agree that it will. And it does. And I just find it amazing. Wow, I don't know what else to say. I'm just so surprised. For an SE amplifier. Well, I'm beginning to see. I'm not just beginning to see. I have seriously experienced the charm of this thing. I have it hooked up to these clip horns, very, very efficient. I have them parallel because it's mono. So I run it mono, and I've been running it ever since I built it, and that's just all I listen to. We could go into about a million other things, varying the value of the negative feedback resistor and all that kind of stuff. I don't think I really want to get into that tonight. I mean, we can tinker with this thing for, for hours. But I hope this is fun. I don't know how much meaning it has. I'm not going to put any capacitors across it to attenuate that tiny bit of overshoot, because I like the way it sounds, the way it is, and I'm not going to mess it up. That is something sometimes us as techs tend to do. We need to keep modifying it until we don't like it anymore, and I don't want to do that. Oh yeah. Here's what I got to show you. Yeah, I got to show you this, and then I'll post the video. I had to. The power transformer went bad in it. you remember the other videos, here's the power transformer that was initially in it. This thing, the secondary shorted. You know, they rated this thing at 100 milliamps, which I thought, well, that's maybe, you know, modern day stuff, maybe that's true. But apparently it isn't, because sometimes I forget and leave it on for a day or two or three at a time. But fortunately, I was very, very lucky that I had this one. This one is the same voltage. I think it gives me about 20 volts more on the anode. Has a 6 volt winding and a 5 volt winding, you know, for the 5R4. It's perfect, and you know, it actually looks perfectly fine underneath too. Let's see, let's unplug this so I can lean it up on its side. You can see how I was able to fit it into that hole. You can see right there. I gotta be careful. See right there, you know, that's where it was cut out, a square for that other one. Let me show you exactly what the voltage is for it. Now let me show you the voltage on a really accurate little meter. Right there. The plate voltage is, I think on the other one is like 390 or something like that. In this one, at the same test point, it is 410.1. I think you can read that. 409.8, whatever. 410 volts. That's what the anode voltage is. And the cathode bias voltage is, which is another thing that's really important, is 28 volts. 28.0. I think you can see all that on the camera, can't you? Yeah, you can. So that's its bias, 28. There you go. What else is there to know? Well, this is all fun, and I've just been so charmed with it, and I've been having a lot of fun. I thought I would share this with you guys. It's almost Christmas. So there you go. In case we don't see each other, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, stay safe, and have fun, and we'll meet again some other place.